We're making it.
And I'm the Omega. Bitch.
Is that a Bible reference?
Yeah.
That was what that was. Okay.
He's the Alpha and I'm the Omega. And you're the bitch.
Wow.
I don't like them roles whatsoever.
Well,
Rick, can you hand me the dolphin smoke?
Yeah.
I didn't write the damn thing.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. So these are whiskeys, right?
Well, they're definitely whiskey. Whiskeys is the overall umbrella, which includes bourbons, ryes, single malt, scotch.
So, hello, YouTubers. We are once again here joined to taste test and taste smell these fine whiskeys that Adrian has selected for us to drink.
Totally blind they don't even know what we're having. They have no information. And then I know what they are, but I haven't looked up any tasting notes or anything like that. We'll just have to figure it out. And the two of you are both looking pretty worse for wear after other tribulations of the day.
You know.
Hopefully this goes all right. You get a little silly. Hopefully that's what happens. So why don't we dig in and start?
Oh, Cody. He's just over there getting handsy already. Haven't even started.
No, okay. What are we doing here, Codes? Okay. Picking up what you're laying down. All right, here we go.
Did you get that? Was my reaction
right
too. I hope that's the whiskey, not the cup that I'm smelling.
What are you guys smelling? It smells fine to me. Sips, boys. Don't be guzzling anything.
Kill your family.
Well, I don't see how that would change whether you're drunk or not.
We got that. We got that on film.
Yeah. I think dead to rights.
I stood my ground.
By breaking into my place and killing my family.
Who said about
Stand
breaking in? Your house looked at me funny.
So
You smell rye.
Faint. Yeah, I smell rye too. I was afraid to say I'm that I rinsed the glasses well enough, but I do smell a little bit of rye.
I do smell graham cracker. I guess gingery, graham cracker, a little rye, spice.
a rye spicy gingerbread man.
Yeah.
A little oak, a little charred oak.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little bit of char.
A little oak, Ricky. Get that on there? Oak.
Who talks like that?
Alright.
Maybe like blackberry or something, but I don't know. I don't get the rye on the tasting as much.
It's like very
Can you please?
spicy to me. Again, it might also be just that it's not the first bourbon of the batch.
Yeah, oh man. It smells so much of rye spices, but I don't get that on the taste.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting the gingerbread, graham cracker mixed with char. Mixed with char.
It's got a large amount of ginger, well, more so graham cracker, charred oak, kind of maybe some vanilla, but
It's very, if there is, it's pretty faint.
It's not bad. It's a lot of char, a lot of, like a lot of dark graham cracker wood char.
More on the sweet side. Okay, so yeah, I heard you guys mention char a bunch of times. Yep, I agree with that. And I think there's actually, I think I'll say a little bit of cigar this time. I've been kind of waiting for the chance to mention that, and I think that applies here a little bit, but it's more on the sweet side. He just gets louder the further he moves from the mic.
Lay down.
Are you guys done with the first class?
I am.
Distracting the dog at the moment as best as we can. Poor puppy. It's breathing 3 times as hard. Lord knows what we said of any use on the first bottle, on the first glass. Pour number 2.
Charred oak.
Right.
Graham cracker. That's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
A little more cinnamon on this one. A little bit more vanilla.
Yeah,
like
this is
icing. This is
a little more traditional bourbon notes.
reminiscent of something from Maker's Mark to me. A little more like icing and cinnamon rolly. Like buttery icing and cinnamon. Maybe like a dark fruit, like a prune or something, but I'm not sure about that.
Well, hello. All right, it's all the more reason for
buttery,
us to focus
sugary, cinnamony.
Yeah, actually, when you were mentioning sugar and cinnamon, it's like, I was like, for a second there, I had a flash of
These
cinnamon
are a
toast crunch.
few of my favorite things.
Okay. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it reminds me a lot of Maker's. It's very, to me, like buttery cinnamon roll, kind of. Maybe a little bit of rye somewhere in there.
This is definitely fruity to me. It's like somewhere with like maybe a little bit of orange, maybe a little bit of cherry. Like definitely the cinnamon. With you on the cinnamon and like maybe a sweet donut-y type bread, but I'm not getting those other notes. But the hell do I know? Let that sit on your tongue for a while, and that becomes a nice like it's like an ice pop that melts in your mouth. Yeah. Again, I'm still kind of getting orange, but mixing a little bit of like powdered sugar, a little bit of brown sugar for that matter. Definitely not. I'm not really getting any oakiness or those more like abrasive. Are you okay, Ricky? You seem like in another world, dude.
I'm alright, man.
I'm alright, baby.
Just, my eyes get heavy. It's hard to keep them up sometimes. It's getting harder and harder with each passing day.
We need another energy drink?
No.
What about one of these?
Ooh.
Ricky, get some fat on your body. You
I
piece
do!
of
I weigh 230. What do you want me to
If
do?
I can't pitch you in the middle of the back because of your back fat, then you're not fat enough.
What do you want me to do?
It's like, it's similar to a Maker's, but not as much oak on the flavor, on the palate. Definitely cinnamon rolly, but a little bit of fruit too. Now I'll move on.
Okay.
Okay, now this one, for me, we're on back again to the dark fruits, the date fig. Like with the balcons.
Yes. I'm actually, and now this time,
Soy saucy,
I might be
kind
getting a
of.
little bit of chocolate, Ricky. Hopefully, to your delight.
Yes.
But yeah, dark fruits, like this could almost be like chocolate covered raisin.
Speaking
note
of
I can-
which,
What? Oh, those
Cody
are in here
has
somewhere, aren't
some
they?
over there, back there, I think.
It's like a
Yeah.
bready prune.
Mm-hmm.
I think the palate follows the nose pretty well.
Mm-hmm. I would say between these two, between 2 and 3, the second one has a lot more like corn flavor, but this one has, yeah, like Cody was saying, like dark fruits, almost a chocolatiness. It does kind of remind me a little bit of balcons, but without quite so much the fermented fruit.
I think so far these have been like in ascending order for me. Like first has been my least favorite, and then second and third so far is my favorite one.
Yeah, there's definitely much more of a progression going on here than with the ryes we did earlier. Like these seem like there's more variety between them than ones we had earlier tonight.
Yeah.
I said the word rye, then of course I get a like weird little whiff of it, but there's no way that's like here because this is like sweet almost entirely. It's kind of like a little hollow, this third one though. I mean, it's got all that sweetness, but
Yeah.
there's a certain amount where it just kind of like washes out of your mouth real quick.
Just kind of that dark fruit flavor and not a ton more.
Yeah, it's a little one-dimensional. It doesn't have like what I would call real complexity to it. But, all right, whiffing number 4. I will drop one hint on you guys.
Okay.
Not going to give you much information at all. I will tell you this. One of these is a major mismatch,
Okay.
but the other 3 are comparable.
I think maybe get like a little bit of raisin off of this one.
Raisin?
I think. A little honey. Like honey, raisin. Not sure what else.
I was going to say, I'm going to get a little caramel.
Yeah.
And for a second I smelled like hot cinnamon, but I don't smell it now. I get like something not oaky. It's like a wood note that's a little lighter than that, like birch or maple or something. It's like a little less like heavy and char and like coal. It doesn't remind me of like a bonfire as much as like oak does, but can't quite pinpoint it any better than that.
Like chocolate covered raisin, like milk chocolate, not dark chocolate, and maybe even orange.
This one's a little slightly hotter than the others, I think. Whew. God, I don't know how you drink this many without drinking something good. God. Palate cleanser, dude. It's okay. You don't have to prove how tough you are, buddy. We know you're tough. We believe in you.
Can't pinpoint it. It's pretty good.
I think we've killed Ricky. I think he died. We're left with a zombie.
More!
Zombie raising.
This one is like eluding me. I just can't.
Clue number 2. One of these should be really familiar. I'm not saying it's this one. I couldn't tell you. I was hoping I could pick out which one it would be, but
I think I'm pulling out of my ass here.
Oh, don't say that, man.
I think like chocolate covered raisin, but like oaky and a little bit of cinnamon too.
on this one,
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
Let me take a look.
Me? This is just me, but like me, it just tastes to me like a whiskey tasting, but with cinnamon, hot cinnamon and spiciness to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to hot cinnamon, I think, and that's aided by the fact that it seems like either it's higher ABV or it's not disguised as well in this one. I don't know. I'm getting more hotness with this one mixed with the sweetness, the cinnamon. I think there might be a little bit of cherry going on here too, but it's weak. It's like it's a very light cherry. It's like maraschino or something like that, and but yeah, it's like maybe a hot cinnamon. You know, it's bourbony. It's got your corn.
Well, Cody's definitely disagreeing with you.
It's not like the one has like a lot of oaky.
Tell.
The one has a lot of oaky flavor. That's not going on here.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I would say 3 and 4 are kind of thinner on the whole, but yeah, I'm not getting it.
How would you know how it feels on your hole?
Well, I mean,
Prick. He's opened these bottles beforehand.
I perceive.
This is not a subjective comparison. He's put them on his hole before, and I won't stand for that.
Mm-hmm.
Not for a minute.
Because that's a mighty handy power you have there. It could make you could.
It's helpful at
The
times.
CIA would be hiring
Frankly.
if they knew of your superpowers.
Well, there's a reason why it's a secret.
Yep.
Ooh, Ricky's. Never mind. It's the moment's gone. It looked rather dashing for a moment.
Trying to be like my hero, man. Glasses on the head.
Let's. I guess we'll go back through them.
Yeah.
Lighten up a little, you two. Well, hopefully we're not falling asleep the whole video while we're drinking.
Well,
as you can.
This was supposed to be your big hit, Adrian.
Yes, you guys are in the soup. All I'm asking is for you to not in the soup.
This is his big coming out party, Ricky.
This is the one. This was gonna make or break us.
This was your platinum record.
You laid it over the couch arm and you f***ed it.
This was your
He could have been a contender.
Emmy nomination.
He could have been a contender, but then you and me came along.
Mm-hmm.
And
You're holding me back. I'm going solo.
We tried to carry him, but he was just over there sucking the charisma.
Yeah.
We gave him so much in the first one, and we're like...
I take it all back. Let me back in.
We're like 1 point down from where we were in our earlier video.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, even though we're still Frank Sinatra and Freddie Mercury...
I'm James Dean.
Adrian's over there being Andy Dick.
Yes.
Wow. How the mighty have fallen. I thought I had everything, but really I had nothing.
It's time for Bourbon Hour with James Dean and Frank Sinatra and Andy Dick.
Oh my goodness.
Sweet.
I'm going to compare 1 and 4 directly because they seem, in my memory, very similar. Got a little bit of a menthol on the back end there. That kind of trickled in the aftertaste down my throat. That's weird. Very similar flavor profile, but 4 starts off really slow and muted, and then the alcohol explodes and brings out the extra flavors all in the aftertaste. Whereas the first one's more consistent from beginning to end, but it's still again mostly the same flavors to me. Yeah.
Orange, cinnamon, and caramel. It's not bad.
Upon, I was going to say upon second tasting, I think my opinion of it has risen considerably.
Number 1?
Yeah.
I just did head-to-head on 1 and 4, and I think I like 1 more. I think 1 just it just gels. It's it doesn't feel uneven. It doesn't have different stages that barely match up.
It's very, I think, orange, almost like an orange cinnamon roll, sort of. Heavier on the cinnamon than the other aspects. Yeah, I take that back because I don't really get any breadiness off of it, but definitely the orange and the cinnamon, sweetness. Yeah, it's one mostly static experience throughout. I wonder what the proof that is. Let's see.
Seems kind of on the lower end, but
I'll say 100-ish. Alright.
Move on to number 2.
Again, reminds me so much of Makers. A little bit of dark fruit, just a lot of icing and cinnamon to me, a little oakiness, but I don't know, I might be just pulling that out of my buttonhole.
yeah, the oak is unmistakable on number 2. Definitely. There's almost a croissant in there. It's something that's sweeter than average bread, but it's not plain sugary. It's more kind of a subtle implied background sweetness. But yeah, there's an oakiness there that really defines this one compared to the others.
It is, again, very much like the Maker stuff, but also it's a little less desserty tasting.
Yeah, especially compared to the one coming up, I think.
A little more balanced, I think. A lot more hot cinnamon on the first one than the second one's they're both cinnamon, but
yeah,
the second one's more again, You know what I always think of, Ricky? You know, this isn't gonna mean anything to anyone that nobody's watching anyways. Who cares? What's the Salvatore's? You know, the cinnamon roll thing.
Yeah.
Or it's got that like
cannoli.
no, the cinnamon roll, or it's not cinnamon roll. It's not a roll, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like that like sliced bread. And it's got like a little slits in it with like it's got icing on top, but then the middle it's got that. It's that like dark, like almost black, like granular, sugary cinnamon spread. Like that is what I'm talking about on 2. One is more like a
red hot,
like a red hot, yeah. And this one's more like that,
yeah,
cinnamon roll kind of cinnamon.
Yeah, yeah, I
like icing, like buttery icing, and this one's more like a hot cinnamon.
Yeah.
Almost got some kind of fruit off of one, maybe cherry. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going back to 3.
All right.
I like 1 and 2 both quite a bit, but
yeah,
for me, neither one of them is necessarily to my flavor profile, but I can tell they're both pretty good.
Yeah, one and 2. Let's just say their stocks have risen since I first.
Well, you better sniff 3. Maybe they'll just be right back where they were.
Yeah.
Get a little more like some kind of fruit off of 3, I think, than I did initially. Maybe.
Yeah, this for me, this was still. I think I'd said originally this one was the one that made me think of chocolate covered raisins, and then like there's a little bit of a leafiness coming in now. I want to say it's almost like makes me think of like balsam or something like that, some kind of like wintry leaf flavor, and it's like
now
the
Adrian.
smell. I mean, I'm not saying it tastes that
now
way.
Adrian.
Now Cody. Which one are you smelling right now?
3.
Are you?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no.
Oh god. Oh god.
No. Now I am. Oh, this one's like. I got a lot of menthol in this one. A lot of rye. Yeah, I get a lot of rye in that, man. A lot of that mentholy, minty. Now, I didn't get that. I didn't even mention that in any glass so far, but
Yeah.
I get it right now after having those other ones.
Well, I did mention that it was something leafy, and that might be what Cody's leaning.
Doesn't really jump to my mind as rye. It's got that like eucalyptus.
Yeah.
We're getting a little more.
But it's more.
Fruit now.
Yeah. There's more. There's a sweetness. There's a fruitness. This one to me is the most caramely, and it's the whatever leafiness I'm smelling like is more in the background.
A little peppery. So far, this one's the most different.
Then you taste it, and it's like, what the hell? It's so different than what it smells. Like, it's a lot of the same notes end up being there, but like there's this splash at the beginning that's really watery, and then those notes start creeping in, and it's like chocolate, caramel, dark fruits, possibly like overripe fruits, and maybe just a moment, just a ephemeral moment of pepper.
Please allow me to pull.
Your eyes are barely open.
Please allow me to pull some more poop out of my butt here. I'm gonna say peppery, like honeydew, just barely honeydew.
Peppery honeydew.
Peppery like honeydew.
No, not like honeydew, but like you had just like you squeezed a little bit of honeydew juice. Like you weren't actually eating one, but like, oh, maybe that's honeydew. But then you put like cracked black pepper on it, and then quite a bit of eucalyptus. Now, that's the overwhelming thing that I get is sweet, like menthol. Like it's not overpowering. It's not like, oh, this is
I would agree that there's some menthol here.
But it's very. That's the largest thing that I'm tasting. Sweet, like minty. Not. I don't want to say minty.
There's something.
It's like
I don't know if it's ABV or if it's like spice in the back end, and it's like it could be that what we were smelling. It could be like a rye or eucalyptus or I don't know. To me, it tastes more. It's like watery, a little watery up front. Then you get the sweet notes in the middle, and then there's some sort of spice and or heat on the back. Probably more of a spice.
I get mostly lighter taste though, like I don't get any like dark fruit or, I mean, again, I don't know, but
The more I drink it, the less I'm tasting like dark fruits because it's so thin and light that it's like.
just kick it. Actually, I think it's the tray on top. If you move that,
No.
huh, well then just kick it. Oh, now you pissed it off.
Now it sounds like a car that won't start.
Kick it again. A little bit like green tea too. Pepper, honeydew, and green tea.
You're not like crazy with the honeydew, by the way. Like that's I could like reconcile that with what I'm tasting if I tried. Okay, number 4.
Real.
That seems sort of like number 2 was what I remembered, but definitely I think 2 and 4 are similar.
I'm getting like oak and leather notes off of 4 that I wasn't tasting the first time. Alright, I'm gonna start doing head-to-heads. Figure out which one I like the most.
I like 2, but prior to going back to it, I feel like there aren't waves of flavor as the other. It's more of like one homogeneous experience.
Which 2?
4. Like I got cinnamon and oak.
Yeah.
And not sure what else. But it's all kind of combined into one. I don't think that's a bad thing either. I think now to go back over again for the 3rd time now that I completely have no idea what's going on again.
Tough.
Yeah, despite that, I feel like there's a little bit more diversity going on here than with the ones we had earlier. I'm having trouble really saying which one I like better than the others.
Yeah, like the other tasting, I knew that I liked 1 the best, and I knew I didn't like 4 the most. 2 and 3 were hard. This one,
This is like
not sure at all.
there's
on any of them.
differences, but it's like hard for me to say I like one more than the other.
Okay, Cody, you were born for this. You know good bourbon. I know which costs more than the other.
This is it. Put that education to the test.
If we had any viewers, I would have just like down. I was like, "Rup, rup, rup." I like them all, and then I just walked away. That would have got us the views, Ricky.
Oh yeah.
Cuts the hits.
1,000 views, baby.
Would have got us
We're-
the dick clicks. Alright, back to 1, baby!
I think I got mine. It's close though.
What did I even say this tasted like? I don't remember anymore. That was like 3 minutes ago. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Whew, I'm struggling. This is hard to keep doing.
2's hit me in a good way. So I think it tastes most like Makers, which I'm not a huge fan of, but the flavors are very pronounced and seem complex, more complex maybe than the others to me. But it's also kind of drying. Man, I got so much menthol on the 3rd one now.
Yeah, I don't really care for that too much.
For me, I think 2 and 3 are probably going to be ranking higher than 1 and 4, but
Oh, Cody! Come on, man. That old trick. Where are you, my uncle?
Hey, what do they call Americans in France, Ricky?
I don't know.
Yank!
Oh, wow.
I'm ready.
How about that?
Okay, yeah,
Put an
go.
outtake.
Home Alone 2 deleted scene.
Was it Home 2? I think it was 1.
Yeah.
Now we're going to lose all credibility on this one. I think this is the one. We're half falling asleep. I'm miserable right now.
Our
Can't wait for that Mario Party to start.
excuse is that it's 2:30.
Oh, give me 1 second to do the first one. What's the last one?
Man, I've never seen you so conflicted before.
Oh, since last time.
My stomach is like, what's going on this week? We had it was like, had a fairly good, healthy start of the week. Then Thanksgiving happened, and the day after. And then I ate well yesterday, and then I had today a freaking entire giant ass pizza. And
Yeah.
8 ounces of bourbon, probably.
This is
I don't know
where
how. God damn, Cody, I don't know how you're doing this with so little. You're a character on. Here's Cody on Mario Party. It's just character just spinning in place, not moving at all, and falling off cliffs.
2v2. Don't be Cody. Don't be Cody. Don't be Cody.
it's hard for me.
I'm sorry to our viewers that we're reviewing. I mean, you know what we're drinking.
Doesn't take. I'm sure it doesn't take most people 20 minutes to make a decision.
Oh, it does.
Someday you're gonna die, Cody, and they're gonna use all this footage against me for making it happen.
Sorry, man.
Please, God, I hope you've reached a conclusion, Cody.
I guess.
Okay. All right. I think Rick said you were ready first.
Yep. 2, 4, 1, 3 is mine.
Okay. I will do 2, 3, 1, 4.
Man, that's really hard.
Yeah, it is. This was hard.
What I will say, I agree with your order 2, 3, 1, 4, but what I will say is that for me, 2, easily 1. I think I like this one better, but the other 3 were
the other 3 were hard to separate.
Really hard. And you know what was hard was 1 and 4 to me were very similar in taste.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar.
1 and 4 were very similar.
That was like, well, so I decided 2 is my favorite, and then I was like, oh, okay, 4 isn't that great. So I guess it's 1 and 3. And like 3 was the one that was kind of more like a rye, it's kind of more minty. And so I was like, that's just hard for me because like I wasn't thinking about this when I was doing it.
No, just keep talking like that didn't happen. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Now I got chocolate spindles.
Chocolate
I've been waiting for
How's that
a moment to
more
get back
often
at you
just
guys.
on Xbox Live?
Oh, was that you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was good.
That was me.
I was like, Cody would do that, not Ricky. Surely not Ricky or good little boy.
Yeah, so 3 was the most different out of all of them. And then I was just like, I don't even know.
And then part of me is like,
4.
and then I'm always afraid I'm going to pick something for being different, not that it's better. So I'm like, okay, I got to compare 3 back to 1 and back to 4. Like, and I'm like, I can't do it. I did 2, 3. 2 definitely stood out. 3 on the first 2 go-throughs was definitely like probably up there. And then on the third one, I just like my tongue couldn't do it anymore.
What did you have? What was your favorite? You was 2 again?
2, yeah.
You said, so we all said 2 was the best.
And then the
yours
rest were just like
That's sort of somewhat of a toss-up, but you said 2,
4, 1, 3.
1, 3.
So I was different from you
Your other
guys.
3 were fairly
3,
different than ours, but like, yeah, we're all saying fairly tough. Okay, so hint number 3 as to what we're drinking is they're all from the same place.
Oh!
Ricky just guesses it. Number 1.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that should have been familiar.
Okay. Lay it on me.
Eagle Rare Store Pick.
Definitely tasted different than the last time.
Number
Got a
2,
lot more fruit than I had
consensus
the last
winner.
time.
E.H. Taylor Small Batch. Number 3.
I'm so nervous.
Sazerac Rye. It is not a bourbon. We snuck in a 5th rye today, boys. Which means number 4, consensus worst, Blantons Single Barrel. No, you should be happy with that. Because you've railed against Blantons for a long time.
Well, again, like, they were all very, very, very close, and I think 2 was like a notch I liked it better, but again, it wasn't like oh my god, like I'm drinking Jack Daniel's, barrel proof versus Old Forester 100. I mean, it wasn't like some kind of crazy, like this one is like super thick and barrel proof and delicious, and this one's like watery and like it was they were all very close, and that's what I said. The Sazerac Rye, how much is Sazerac Rye? Like
30
MSRP. Okay.
Sazerac is extremely affordable. That was the one I was calling a mismatch because it's
if
a
you
rye.
Can find it.
It's hard to find, but it is not expensive anywhere you find it. It's very reasonable. These are all today's theme is big bunch of Buffalo Trace. These are all Buffalo Trace bourbons. We've already had Eagle Rare, but I decided to put it in again as a store pick. So Sazerac is, so the company's owned by, the overall company is Sazerac. They own Buffalo Trace, but Buffalo Trace basically makes everything, and they named it Sazerac Rye after their parent company. So that was a rye. Those rye notes that you were tasting, like, you had to, like, kind of convince me on it before I was sold, but, like, yeah, that's why we were tasting that. But for the price, holy crap, that's pretty damn good. Like, I mean, that's half the price of Blanton's. Blanton's is $65 minimum, and on secondary, this is selling for $150. Frickin' Blantons, the worst one out of this four. That thing is $30, and it beat it. And then E.H. Taylor, now that's still a fairly big deal. You just had the single barrel, which is why it was killing me yesterday to hear you talk about the single barrel, because I was bringing small batch. But small batch and single barrel aren't worlds apart in terms of like quality. They're both bottled and bond. They're both 50%, and they're essentially the same juice, except one's a specific single barrel chosen.
So, okay.
But anyway, so E.H. Taylor is probably, it's going to run you like $65 probably to buy at MSRP as well. Secondary, that's going to sell for $100, $150. Blantons will probably sell just a little bit higher. E.H. Taylor is right behind it though. Sazerac, nobody cares. It's like a cheap bottle, and then Eagle Rare. Like Eagle Rares actually sell for more than you would think. They're usually like 80 to 100 on the secondary. MSRP though, they're like 30. I bought mine for 34 or something. So it's like Sazerac and Eagle Rare are very affordable, and and I'm not like, I know it's like, oh God, are we just idiots because Blanton's was last? But no,
no. 4 was my number 2, and 3 was my last one. So my tongue can distinguish between the high quality class. You two are the fools.
Yeah,
it's not like there were any of these I would walk away from like, oh, that's a bad bourbon, don't pour it for me. But they're all very, especially Eagle Rare, Sazerac, and Blanton's, but especially Eagle Rare and Blanton's taste very similar to me. So these were all about the same proof. You had the one that was a little higher, but
and then like the Sazerac Rye, it was kind of hard for me to place that amongst the others. It's hard, especially because like I'm not really a rye person, so.
I know this is considered the lowest quality bottle of the 4, and we rated it generally like second or whatever. I don't care. I'm sticking by it. Like you did. Like, we do it blind for a reason, and it's like this stood out compared to the other ones, and it's like, not only did it stand out, it's like, well, I also liked it. So, yep. E.H. Taylor, like, I mean, I don't know. That's E.H. Taylor seems to have a reputation for a reason, and that's the one. Like, Blanton's is kind of.
Was it? And that was a single barrel, so that's even more than a regular.
No, Blanton's is always single barrel. That's like the generic. Like, if you get a Blanton's, it's at least a single barrel. But you can also get single barrel. Like, there's a Japanese one. Oh, by the way, this Blanton's is actually a European.
Was it the Japanese?
Because this is European because it's 70 centiliters. When it has centiliters as the volume, that means this was sent to Europe. I thought for a second, you were going to say Bentley's just not in there anymore. He's just not there. Guys, he's not there. Bentley, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. All right, so we're doing an aftertaste of the we've already
After
done
what taste?
after having tasted both the regular Eagle Rare and a store pick. Now we're going to compare them side by side and see if there's a preference.
Can I have both of them?
Yeah, it's Cody's had a few. Also, it's like past 5 a.m., so he's being a little silly right now. Here you go. Over here. On the left one is the regular. We're not doing it blind. Just drink.
Oh, no, I know.
He's really had a few.
Overly ripe pear.
I actually do taste pear and cherry on this. Now that you mention it, this is the regular.
I didn't mean cherry, but
hopefully should I think,
I'm sure people did more so taste cherry than pear. But for whatever reason, I always get pear. But okay, yeah.
It's very fruity and sweet. It gets to a little bit of a watery finish, but it's it's primarily fruit forward.
There's honey in there, I think, but it's like it's like you took like a little baby, like one hair paintbrush and just like. But it's more like a Rainier or something, not like a maraschino. It's like a little bit more bright, less syrupy.
Well, let's compare that to the store pick, which when we had the store pick, we thought was like.
How did you know which one was which?
This isn't blind, Cody.
You bitch.
Because we already know what they are. There's no point to blinding it. What are we gonna do? Oh, this one's one. We know these are the two Eagle Rares. Which one's? There's no point to blinding it. Just taste it and tell me what the difference is, dude. Boink. Here we go.
Can't believe you've done this.
Okay, so the store pick, mostly the same fruit profile, I think, but there's a way more woodiness. Oh yeah. The original Eagle Rare is like pure fruits, dies off quick, kind of a weak finish, honestly. But the store pick, the finish is stronger, the woodiness comes in, the overall experience is like almost twice as long, and that kind of residual heat that comes out of the oaky flavors hangs around the sides of your tongue a bit longer. So this to me is like a stronger bourbon, the store pick. Any thoughts over there? Drunken Master? I like both of them. Like, I didn't like Eagle Rare that much at first, but it's growing on me, and I like. Of these two, I would say the store pick is pretty easily my favorite. God, that's weird. That's how much hotter that seems.
So, from my Nostradamus palate.
Is Nostradamus known for a good palate?
Yes.
Was he? Okay. Well, let's see. What would he have said?
He would have said.
Face.
Also, he would have said.
Which one do you like more?
That's what I'm getting at. I do like the store pick better, but I can see why someone would like the standard better. I think the standard one, I get the bright pear, apple, and cherry. The single barrel, I get mostly just the pear.
Yes.
Not the cherry or the brightness. It's not as bright. It's
not as bright,
darker.
exactly.
And I personally like that better. It feels a little thicker.
You like what?
The single barrel.
Okay.
It feels a little thicker. It feels a little more refined. It's
like less eccentric.
Regardless.
It's more like well-rounded. It's a little bit stronger.
It's a little darker.
And not as light and more woody.
A little smoother. The single barrel, a little bit more just darker pear. It's like the juice has been kind of just like sitting there for a while, marinating.
It's like been fermented pear.
It's not really fermented, but
no, but I mean,
it's had like
it's like a bruised pear. It's like a pear that's sat in a brown bag for a while and gotten old. Yeah, darker, less bright, a little more of that wood action going on too.
I think
the alcohol jumps out more to me.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it is like.
So like, okay, what about this?
I think it is better, but it's very, very close.
All right.
It's kind of
what if we did letter grades on these? Where would you put them? I'm actually like fairly impressed with the store pick. Like I already was starting to come around on Eagle Rare because obviously I've drank a lot of this bottle,
But adding those extra notes in the store pick, I'm tempted to go into the A's. That seems high to me to go into like A- range, but it's arguable. A B plus, A- for me for store pick. For regular Eagle Rare is like a B. It's like a B, arguably B minus, depending on like what you're looking for. If you're looking for something like that's not just pure fruit, you're gonna be like B minus on this.
I would almost put both of them at B if we're really
No difference. B and B.
Well, a very marginal difference. If we're being hard asses, I'll say B for standard. For this standard Buffalo Trace, and for this particular single barrel, I guess I'll go B plus.
Okay. I'm honestly really enjoying the Eagle Rares right now. The first couple of times I had it, it was like cheap. It was like it almost tasted cheap. It was a little watery, and it was like overly fruity. It was like someone was like almost sweetening the bourbon. I don't think that now, and especially with the store pick, adding in some of those extra notes, making it a little rougher and a little more like abrasive. I think that the store pick to me makes it an even better product, and this is like, for me, this just matches the sort of things I enjoy.
I would say I was more impressed with it than I thought I would be. So I would say for me, for where Eagle Rare is for me, I don't think it's anything super special, but if you're someone that's like just getting into it, or you like lower proof bourbons, I think, and you can get Eagle Rare. That's also another thing. I think it's the best option that there is.
Especially if you get it at MSRP, it's a good bargain.
I will say this: I think it's probably one of the best ones I've had under 100 proof. I think if you want something that isn't strong, you're newer, or you're going to be serving it to someone who's newer.
Yeah, flavorful, and
it's going to be fruity and tasty.
Give us a whirl.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out, shall we?
Can I take a rain check and figure it out?
Okay, I mean, sometimes there's just nothing there.
Not everything is.
You
set.
give it here!
That's my big old butt.
Open it!
Good luck trying to lift
This
that
is
big old
staying
thing.
in.
Talk to me.
It's a
Say,
big old
"Bah,
thing.
bah."
This wasn't what I had in mind when I said live in the mouth. Grabbing my ass and trying to make it talk out of its asshole.
Well,
But I like that. I like the go get 'em attitude. Cause bring
different strokes for different folks, I always say. Just move it a little bit. Just shift
I
it.
am. It's not doing anything.
Tell it who's boss.
Just sort of like grab it by the lapel and shake it a little bit. Like, hey,
There, it's good. This is
Thank you. Thank you, Rick.
where we
Yeah.
convince Ricky to give it the business, and then it ends up on top of Rick somehow. It's like,
Beautiful failure.
we turn around and like, so this bourbon, and then we look back at Rick. Ricky's just dead, bleeding out of the mouth.
It's
with the generator
just
sitting
on
on
top of
his
him.
cave in his chest.
And somehow the faucet though, he's just he's getting waterboarded with beer. It's like,
You turned away for 7 seconds.
I do get, okay,
It takes a village to raise a child.
I do also get,
You can't take your eye off of